Day 15. We've used up all our food. And there goes the last of our water. I think we're starting to run out of options, and we're both starting to get really tired. If there's anyone out there, if anyone can hear us, please send help.
Hey, are you guys okay over there? Can I get you something to eat?
Who's that?
I don't. There's nothing good to eat in Bangor.
No, we're all set.
We got chicken.
Chicken?
Yeah, this is Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A? Let's go grab a bite. A frostbite!
Hey, it's Fletcher,
And Brian,
here with the next installment of Frostbytes.
and this month's video is gonna be something else. But first, I have a question.
What's that?
How often do you keep your promises?
Oh my dear, what a condemnatory inquiry. Brian Zachary Frost, you do amaze me. I keep my promises all the time. Silly little boy.
So, Peter.
Peter.
Peter?
Peter.
Pete, buddy. You say you always keep your promises.
Oh, but of course.
Well, that's just great. So you've never had to call out of a shift before. You ever agreed to do something that you never got around to doing?
But those aren't promises. Aren't they, though? When you submit your availability, aren't you making a promise?
As long as my availability is open, I'm telling Todd that these are the times that I can work.
Right, or if someone asks me something like, hey, can you take care of that trash? If I say yes, then I'm responsible for that task. If it doesn't get done, then I need to do all I can to make it right, whether it's finding someone to pick up my responsibility or apologizing if I can't make it happen.
And that's really not an unreasonable expectation. All you have to do is just do what you say you're gonna do. Nobody's forcing you to make any promises that you can't keep.
You really must be joking. I should like to remind you that contrary to your apparent frame of reference, life happens. If something important comes up, I can't really be expected to perform every scrap of nonsense that I may have seemed doable at an earlier date.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes there are things that do happen that are outside of your control, and there are a lot of promises made that are simply impossible to keep. But no one here is going to hold that against you. But you still want to make it right when you can.
Consider what might be an avoidable absence and an unavoidable absence.
If you forget about an appointment, couldn't that have been avoided with better planning and prioritizing?
The day-to-day stuff that happens is sometimes unexpected, but you have to prioritize correctly. Hanging out with friends does not permit calling out for a shift.
If there's really no way you can come in, then it's really your responsibility to find someone who can.
So, it is theoretically possible to keep your promises.
But it never really works out that way.
Just like how, theoretically, the overtone series doesn't line up perfectly with the notes we see on a piano.
Wait, that needs a little explanation for us.
So, what that means is, their music doesn't do what we want it to sometimes. The overtone series of one note does not correspond with the note it's supposed to. It's off. But since we adjust it slightly so that all the notes can cooperate just enough with each other and make some compromises in their own overtone series, they work together beautifully, and you can play songs, and it's wonderful. But it takes some compromise, and it takes some flexibility.
So, it looks like the mathematical aspects of music don't line up perfectly with the practical aspects of it.
And what do you know? Keeping promises or telling ourselves that there's something that needs to be done sometimes proves a lot harder than we first thought it to be.
Fortunately for us, we have a community that keeps each other accountable.
Accountable? Accountability is for peasants.
Right. The wonderful thing about Chick-fil-A Bangor is that everyone is on the exact same mission. We are trying to glorify God by being a faithful steward of all that is entrusted to us. as well as to have a positive influence on all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A.
And you know what that boils down to? We want to become the world's most caring company.
And in order to care for the guests we serve, we have to start by caring for the team members providing that service.
So, when we encourage you to keep your promise, we do want you to come in for your shift. But perhaps it's also because we want you to become the best version of yourself you can be.
Because the best version of yourself is responsible and motivated.
What was our question?
Our question was, how often do you keep your promises?
And what was our answer?
Our answer is definitely not as often as we want to. But fortunately, this community here accounts for that. We can, even if we're not able to do something or an unexpected situation comes up, everyone tries to keep their promises. And by doing that, by striving forward, by trying to keep ourselves accountable, it really works out for the better. We build a community that comes in for their shifts, that takes action, and works out good. Serves some pretty mean chicken.
All right. Well, let's do it.
Hey guys, it's Robert, and Fletcher and Brian are just the best. Anyway, here's the blooper reel for you guys. Hey, you know what? I was thinking. Got a good camera, better mic, silly lights, average mics.
Well said.
I am so upset. This
We only
Chick-fil-A's
have
closed on
so
Sunday.
much time to film.
Well, I don't care, but you shouldn't be wearing no Chick-fil-A uniform on a Sunday. I said for. Oh, you guys are recording.
You just made the blooper reel.